This video is brought to you by
Cool Grain Clothing. We done gone worldwide and we coming straight out of Baltimore. Come on down, shop with us at 215 West Saratoga Street. And if you can't come and shop with us in person, go online right now at coolgrainclothing.com and make your purchase. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way, and that's just basic.
It's your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 times, and I'm back with another episode of the Baltimore Way. In this video, I'll be discussing the recent case involving a father who tried to help his adult daughter get back on track, but instead, he lost his life. But before we get into this video, I'd like to say it's good to be back. Thank you to everyone for their kind words and support. I love and appreciate you all so much. If you like to support the channel monetarily, you can find the information on the screen. And to support us for absolutely no cost, please hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and join the Tony 2 Times family. Tap that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And of course, feel free to share this video with everyone you know. Also, if you'd like to see more episodes of the Baltimore Way, please click the link to the playlist in the description box after this video to get caught up. Everything in this video is alleged. All right, let's get into it. There's nothing like the love between a father and his daughter. Growing up, my father was my hero, protector, and my provider. I was a daddy's girl. In my eyes, he could do no wrong. As I became an adult, my father would do anything to help me succeed, even when I became a young mother. He promised to take care of me and my daughter until I got myself together. He was there for us until I decided I wanted to be completely independent. So when 59-year-old Brian Reed decided to help his 37-year-old daughter Chanel, I can imagine he felt the same way my father did when he wanted to be there for me. Chanel Reed had fallen on some hard times recently. She sent her 2 children to live with their father a few weeks ago while she got herself together. Her father, Brian, decided he was going to help her out. He allowed her to stay at his home on the 5600 block of Groveland Avenue in Northwest Baltimore. According to a neighbor and friend of Brian, he was doing everything he could to get his daughter help. Some believed that Chanel may have been suffering from mental illness and was under a lot of stress due to her circumstances. Brian wanted to give his daughter as much space as possible, so he decided to spend his time elsewhere and would sometimes even sleep in his car right outside his home. He gave Chanel complete access. On January 18, 2025, Brian, according to his friend, had spent his day getting new license plates for the vehicle he had just gotten for his daughter so she could get around on her own. When he came back to his residence on Groveland, he put the brand new tags on the nice BMW SUV that was meant for Chanel. Later that day, Brian noticed that the locks on his home had been changed. Chanel had seemingly changed the locks without her father knowing. At around 6 p.m., Brian called the police, accusing Chanel of locking him outside of his home. With the impression that the issue was resolved, officers left a short time later. Brian then got a screwdriver and started to remove the deadbolt from the front door. He and Chanel got into a heated argument over the locks. Less than an hour after police left the house, Chanel called 911 and alleged that her father had put his hands on her. As officers were responding to the call, Chanel redialed 911 and said that she had shot her father. When officers arrived at 5614 Groveland Avenue, they found a glass-shattered front door and 59-year-old Brian Reed suffering from a gunshot wound. He was rushed to the hospital for treatment, but he later succumbed to his injuries. Chanel remained at the scene after calling 911. A Glock 23 was recovered outside the house, along with two .40 caliber shell casings, a screwdriver, and other items, police said. Inside the house, police said they found a bucket of .40 caliber ammunition and two clear gel caps with a white powder substance, along with other items. Baltimore police took Chanel into custody. Police said Chanel Reed provided a written statement saying that an argument turned physical with her father over a lock on the door. She told police that she went upstairs to get her weapon while her father was attempting to unscrew the deadbolt. Chanel said, "I went upstairs to get my weapon, my gun, while my dad, Brian, was still trying to unscrew the deadbolt, and I shot towards him, which looked to be his left thigh. He seemed to hesitate while still working on the door, but then he eventually left the house, and I shot towards him once more and called 911 to let them know." 37-year-old Chanel Reed was charged with first-degree hit in connection to the slaying of her father, Brian Reed. She was taken to Central Booking Intake Facility, where she will more than likely remain while she awaits trial. Chanel Reed is innocent until proven guilty. May Brian Reed rest in peace. My deepest condolences to his family and loved ones. I send my well wishes during this difficult time. I can't begin to imagine how hard this situation is to cope with. A daughter took her father's life over him removing locks from a door at his home in which he allowed her to stay. There may be more to the story, but based on the information provided to the public, this tragedy is detestable. A father was trying to help his daughter, and in return, she took his life. He had just gotten her a car, and I believe he truly wanted the best for her. But Chanel had to want the best for herself. I don't understand why she would change the locks in the first place without his knowledge. My father and I wouldn't see eye to eye sometimes, but I couldn't imagine things getting to this point. I just decided it was time for me to go and be independent. We have to realize as adults, our parents owe us nothing, and in turn, we owe our parents nothing. Whatever is done and reciprocated in a parent and adult-child relationship should be done willingly and not out of obligation or entitlement. We also have to remember not to fall into the trap anger leads us to. It's nothing but turmoil and destruction. At any rate, some things in this case point to mental illness and/or substance use playing a role in Chanel's decision. Do you believe that's an excuse to do what Chanel did to her father? Do you believe there's more to this story? Why does it seem like there has been a sudden rise in fatal family disputes? What do you think is happening in society to cause the uptick? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. All right, fam, that's it for this episode of the Baltimore Way. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 Times. Until next time.